So there's a lot of people building their own wheels within the sim community. Some people 3D print all the parts themselves and build their own PCB boards, and some people buy DIY kits from various brands. So I partnered up with Pokornyi Engineering to build a new GTE Pro version 3 wheel, and it was actually not at all what I expected. So let's get into it. Okay, so full transparency here. Pokornyi Engineering sent me this build kit for the new GT Pro version 3 wheel for me to build, drive, make some content and kind of get a sense of what it is to build your own wheel. But with that said, all the opinions in this video are my own, and I have not spoken to Pokornyi about anything regarding the wheel more than how to build it. And as always, I'm not super techy. I'm not going to go into all the little details and specs and everything like that, because obviously this wheel can be built to different specs because you can buy a build kit or you can 3D print a lot of things. But I have a full build kit from Pokornyi, and that's how I'm gonna review this one. But we'll just go through the specs real fast before getting into the video. So the wheel has a diameter of 303 millimeters, so 30.3 centimeters, full metal and carbon fiber structure. It's got 16 RGB telemetry LEDs. It's got a 5-inch Vocor LCD display. It's got 4 RGB backlit rotaries, 4 side rotary encoders, 1 funky switch. That one is optional, I have it. It's got 12 RGB 500 tactile buttons, and it's got 4+2 paddle support. I've got 2 paddles. I've got shifting and I've got clutches. Hall sensor analog paddles with dual clutch function, bite point adjustable. And it's compatible with pretty much all QRs out there. And as you can see, I'm using my trusty SimLab quick release because I still think that's the easiest way to go. So with all of the specs out of the way, let's start with how is it actually to build your own wheel, and especially the GTE Pro from Pokornyi Engineering. Like I said, I had the full build kit from Pokornyi Engineering, which means that I had everything sent to me. The PCB was already done with the buttons on. I had the aluminium enclosure, the shifters, the carbon front plate, the grips. Everything was already kind of pre-made. So for me, it was like building Lego, but a little bit harder. And I had a friend here helping me because there was a few steps I was a little bit concerned about if I could do by myself. And in hindsight, I could probably have built it myself. It would probably have taken a lot longer and a bit more second guessing myself. So I'm really thankful that he came by and helped me yesterday. It took us about 2.5-3 hours to build the entire wheel. And the first thing that we did was to pack up the package and, lay everything out to get an overview. The front plate, the grips, the Vocor display. And that's actually the first step. You need to check so that the Vocor display actually works with SimHub. So you have to kind of put it in. I was super scared because it's, a small electrical piece that you need to put in without any safety. And my display worked perfectly. So then we could kind of start the build. It started quite easy. You put in some of the encoders from the side. And since everything was already, pre-soldered, so we could put it in, tighten it up a little bit. And then we kept on going with encoders, rotaries, the shifters, the clutch. So it was very straightforward because you really have a manual from like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's really like building Lego. You have to try really hard not to be able to build it. There's a few steps where you need to have, of course, double adhesive tape to put the dashboard onto the PCB, and you need to do some hot gluing, but that's not really hard. It's just like, okay, that's how you do it. Perfect. So, the entire process, like I said, was about 2.5-3 hours. And it was a really nice thing doing 2 people because you can talk, you can build, and it's like you see how the wheel kind of grows in front of you. You add the PCB, you add some encoders, you get the display on, and then you start to work with the front plate, you put the glass on, and you kind of see how it goes from being all of these parts to just kind of fuse into one. And there was actually no issues at all in terms of building it. Everything was there except for 3 small bolts, like M4 bolts is going to hold this part, but I had some M4 bolts in the office, so we kind of solved it anyway. I have a funky switch here in the middle. I have some encoders, rotary encoders, buttons. I put the stickers on, and the feel of this wheel, it's high quality. It's not like you have something plasticky or something cheap. It feels like an expensive proper wheel. If I were to compare it to another wheel, I would say it feels a little bit like my Grid Engineering Porsche RSR wheel. It's about the same shape. It has good weight to it, so you can really feel there's no cheap parts on this. Like, everything is well thought out and there's nothing left to chance, if you can say it like that. And obviously, if you want, you can also 3D print a lot of the parts yourself. Now, I didn't do that since was lucky enough to get the build kit. And I think if you would do that and if you do all of the soldering yourself, it would probably be a little bit harder. But as Freek said when we were talking, it's like, yeah, we could have done that as well. It would have taken a bit more time, but I would probably do it if I did it myself. And he's a bit more techie than me. He can build computers and all of those things. But so I think that this wheel is actually a super nice step into building your own things. If you want to build one more of these wheels, or if you want to go do, you know, a full 3D print, you know, do your own PCB and everything. I think that this was a perfect level for me because I couldn't really relax. I was always, you know, tense and doing the right thing, reading the manual. But I mean, if you follow the manual, you come out with a wheel that looks, I mean, design-wise, I wouldn't change a thing on this wheel, to be honest. It looks amazing. And as you can see in some of the B-roll that I put in here, I'm using Lovely Dashboard, and Lovely Dashboard goes perfectly with the dash in the wheel straight away. So, I mean, in terms of building it, I had built up all of this tension. I was a bit nervous of doing it, like, how will I fail? Can I do it? But I cannot stress enough that, you know, for the 967 euros that a build kit costs, it is well worth your money, because this is a wheel that I personally would pay 1,500 to 2,000 for in terms of quality and feel. It looks cool, it looks super professional, and I mean, it is as good as any of the big brand wheels that I have reviewed and that I'm driving with on a daily basis as well. This is definitely going to be my new daily driver for a while. I've been doing some driving with it now since I built it, and I mean, it is super responsive. It feels good. I really like the size, you know, in between 29 and 31 centimeters in terms of how big the grip should be. And this just feels high quality. All of the buttons and coders, it's super easy to get to. And I mean, if you listen to the buttons, as usual, I mean, if you compare that to my other wheels, you won't hear a difference. So the buttons are nice, the stickers are nice. It's just a sleek wheel. And like I said, when driving, you have a really good feeling for the car. It lets you feel all of the force feedback. I'm doing the COCKPITS 20 Newton meter base right now here in my office, and it works perfectly together. This wheel is not too heavy nor too light, so it just gives you a nice feeling of actually driving. But I mean, I'd really like to build another wheel from them because the quality is outstanding. I'm gonna come back with a more of a long-term review on how it drives and how it holds up over time compared to something that you would buy for maybe 2,500 euros. So you can kind of, you know, compare it. But I mean, it's got a thick carbon fiber front plate, aluminium enclosure. Everything is protected. The bolts, you know, the bolts are nice and flush. I mean, if you look at the back here, I mean, it is just pure quality. Also, one thing that's really nice is depending on how big your hands are, you can actually, when you build it, you can put where you want the clutches and the shifters. You have a little bit of leeway like this, and then you can obviously make them long and taller. So there is a lot of customization options when you build it for, you know, to fit your hands better. I kind of built it like it would fit for me. And of course I put the stickers on that I like. But I mean, so all of this with the wheel just makes it a really nice option, especially if you like LMP2, GTEs, or even, you know, GT3s. This is definitely a wheel that I could recommend. But with that said, I mean, we've talked about price, we talked about how to build it, we talked about the feeling of building it, and like I said, it was a step-by-step process that you could just follow easily. You know, no matter who you are, you can definitely build this. I would maybe recommend to build the LED eyebrows from Pokornyi before, so you get a feeling on how to read their manuals and, you know, how to build. But everything in this is actually, you know, super plug and play. If you buy the build kit, of course. If you 3D print and solder everything yourself, that is a completely different story. But like I said, this wheel and how it was to build it, that actually surprised me, and in a really good way. I don't have an affiliate code or anything, but I have a link in the description, and I definitely urge you to check this wheel out, especially if you're on the hunt for a really high-end wheel, but you don't have the budget to maybe do 2,000, but you have the budget to do 1,000, and then you get a wheel that I would say is worth somewhere in between 1,500 to 2,000, but you build it yourself. And I think looking back at when I sit in the rig with this one, the big thing for me is like every time I put it in, it's like, oh shit, I built this. So, you know, you have a sense of accomplishment, like, wow, I actually built this. This is my own wheel. So, I mean, there's a lot of pros and not many cons. I mean, everything in the description was super clear. On the website, you can buy all the parts you need. I will actually put a list of all the parts that I had in my build kit for this in the description, so you can just, you know, check which one it is and then, you know, go and buy everything. So I really want to say thank you to Pokornyi Engineering for giving me a really nice and fun experience to do together with a friend, and then to drive my own wheel. It's super cool. And you know, with that said, have you built your own wheel? I know that I have a few viewers that do it. So what's your thoughts on building your own wheels? You know, discuss in the comments. And again, thank you for watching. It means the world to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until the next one, have a good one.